Welcome back. Our past financial experiences significantly impact our present money behaviors. To learn strategies for achieving financial wellness, we're joined by financial therapist from Holistic Optimal Wealth, Aseel El Baba. Now, what is financial trauma and how does it differ from just general money issues?
Absolutely. So financial stress is things that you deal with on a day-to-day basis, and they're usually a response to something that's happening in the present. Like right now, the post-COVID era, increased interest rates, inflation, all these things are contributing to financial stress for many Canadians. Financial trauma, on the other hand, is a response to past experiences, and they're often rooted a lot in childhood memories, which are unconscious, that are operating in the background. And they're not just impacting you on a day-to-day basis, they're also impacting your overall psychological, emotional, and behavioral pieces around money.
So how can someone's past financial experiences impact their current financial situation?
A lot of us have residues because they're unprocessed emotions that come up as a result of these experiences. And what's important to know, it's not just experiences that directly happen to you. It could be things that you also grew up witnessing and becoming, absorbing some of your parents' emotions or some of the messaging you grew up hearing about money, specifically in the first 7 years of the foundational belief systems. So these are things that tend to be unprocessed and linger and therefore become part of your present.
Okay, so unprocessed, if they're lingering problems, you may not even know you have them. So what are some signs or some symptoms that you might have this?
Great question. So there's two. First, the emotional experiences that you have with money. So the anxiety, the stress, the level of guilt or shame that you have around wealth. So if there's emotional experiences that you have with money that are lingering, that tends to be a really good sign that there's something happening here that requires attention. The other is the behavioral side, which is easier to notice. It's the spending habits you have, if you're overspending or impulsive in these decisions, or maybe even hoarding or gambling, like all the different dysfunctional behaviors we have with money that tend to be obvious because they're on the surface level.
So could you give us an example of someone who maybe has gone through this, who has come out the other side, anonymously of course, but give us an example of someone you've worked with who's helped process this.
It doesn't have to be anonymous because I'll talk about myself. Okay. I was my first client and I came from financial trauma myself. I grew up in a war zone, and when we came here, we were on welfare and the food banks to get us started, and I became a financial advisor in the bank when my family was still going to welfare. So I had to come to terms with that reality, but also make a commitment for myself to overcome some of these challenges. And I noticed that even though I'm a financial therapist today, I continue to work through these layers, and I normalize talking about it because this is something that impacts all of us. So what I tend to do is bring awareness and shift the conversation from what's wrong with me to what happened to me, because that brings and shifts the relationship you have to something more compassionate versus critical, and that's a game changer in the conversation.
So what are some practical steps that individuals can take if they are experiencing financial trauma?
So bring more awareness to what exactly you're experiencing, how it's impacting you, because that's going to give you the motivation to want to do something about it when you notice the impacts it has on your life. The second is seek support, normalize talking about money, whether you want to work with a financial therapist or a planner. There's different tools for different people, and really bring the therapeutic mindfulness pieces into the conversation. Like mindfulness tools are really, really important as part of this conversation because we're talking about emotions, not just the budgeting and the layers that most people talk about.
Real quick, Aseel, where can people find more information about you and your services that you offer?
Holisticoptimalwealth.com and consciouseconomics.ca. These are two great websites to visit and look at the work that we're doing.
Awesome, Aseel. Thank you so much for making the time today. Thank you. And we've had a great morning here. Obviously a tough subject, but I appreciate you helping us talk our way through it. And that's it for us today here on CHCH Morning Live.